Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? I really haven't made a clip in a long time. I'm sorry, I've been busy. Just been a kind of an interesting day. I have been, going out, working, and certainly, have to tell you that the stock markets have been doing very well, particularly the Nasdaq has recovered a lot from April. And of course, I knew that this is really a bullish trend, and it's going to continue, I believe, for many months and possibly years to come. And at least for one thing, it has been giving me extra income. So, I can cruise in my E-Class Mercedes and go to the gated neighborhoods of Orange County, pick up some, you know, gals and have a great time. So I guess that's what people around my age really enjoy doing. But speaking of that, not only that it's done very well, but it's outperformed certainly inflation. And one of the things is that I want to tell you is that you see this whole baloney that you're hearing in the gold, silver, YouTube pumping community is that they want you to believe that this whole inflationary crisis it's largely done by the monetary policy, by the so-called quantitative easing. They want you to believe that that's devaluing our dollar and causing a lot of food prices to rise. Well, if that's the case, then first of all, why is it that some food items are going up, and why is it that there are very few items that are going down? You know, of course, it depends on where you shop. Now, I shop at Whole Foods and even sometimes like Trader Joe's, and a lot of their items haven't gone up. As a matter of fact, a lot actually went down. I spoke to one of the associates and they told me that 40% of the items were going to be marked down. 40%, the other 60% that he was going to do price changes were going to go up. So what's going on? Are we receiving really an inflation crisis? Is this really a dollar devaluation? For the most part, the answer is no. So you ask yourself, what's going on? What's going on is that you're seeing price increases in items like beef, pork, and certain, meat items. You're also seeing price increases in some fruits and vegetables, some. And you're seeing it in some dairy products. But you're not really seeing it in items like corn, wheat, soybeans, things like ice cream, things like bread, sodas, and so forth. So what's going on? The reality is the problem has to do with a number of factors. Now, one, of course, it has to do with drought. Of course, Texas and Oklahoma is still suffering from that drought. And also, we have had a serious drought in California that does have an effect on prices. And keep in mind, though, if it's drought, prices do come down. Now, what is really marked by inflation if more dollars go to the consumer? But the fact is, we're not really seeing a lot of dollars go to the consumer. We're seeing some states are implementing minimum wage, but that effect is very, very small, depending on where you go. So what is really the problem? The problem isn't really fiscal policy. What it is, it's trade policy. And the fact is, if you're looking at products like milk and beef, a lot of the large corporations are beginning to export those products into overseas countries. So in other words, if you're in Thailand, if you are in India and China, you're receiving more imports of beef that's produced mainly in the US. As a matter of fact, it's been confirmed that the US is probably going to be a beef importer, I believe, this year or next year or so. So the problem is our trade policy. See, we enacted trade policies that allowed our jobs to export our good paying jobs, particularly in manufacturing, to overseas countries. So they have been seeing their wealth and their wages increase. And as a result, they're asking more of their products that it's being produced in the US. So what's the solution? The solution is that we need to get out of our trade policy. We need to increase tariffs because that's the problem. Because not only that makes wages disappear to overseas, but that misallocates resources that do not benefit the American public. So this is what you need to understand. So if you look at it this way, you see a lot of milk producers, they are expanding and they are exporting more of their milk to other countries and leaving less supply to the American people. And this is wrong because what we've been seeing for a number of years, I believe for about 14 years, is that more and more people are depending on certain services to pay for their food expenditures. So this is very, very devastating. So if you want to solve problems, either boycott companies that are exporting their foods to overseas, or demand that there are more restrictions or higher tariffs on exporting foods all across the world. Okay, now I've just recently spoke to a company, it's called Organic Valley, and if you'll notice that they actually produce a lot of dairy and egg products and even meat, as believe it or not, that's of course organic, and they'll have a number of benefits that are pasture raised often, grass fed, whatever you want to call it. And as a result, I have asked them to stop exporting their products to China. Now they export small products, but they don't export fluid milk. And that's why companies like Organic Valley have been seeing smaller percentage increases on their products, mainly compared to other foods. Other producers like Dean Foods and whoever you want to call it, Hormel. And by the way, Hormel has been seeing their profit margins really start to go down. Their earnings haven't been better than expected, believe it or not. But then again, what I really want you to understand is that you'll have maniacs like Peter Schiff and Marc Faber and all these people like Greg Mannarino, Greg Hunter, SGT Bull that are continue to tell and mislead the public that the reason prices are going up is mainly because of the monetary policy. But that has minor effects of price increases. And of course, they don't tell you that it's only some food items that are going up. Not all food items have been experiencing major price increases. As a matter of fact, corn prices are close to multi-year lows. And corn is a huge agricultural product for the United States. And believe it or not, a lot of cattle are actually fed corn. So if corn prices continue to fall, which they have been very low compared to 2011 and 2012, what that means is that cattle futures are going to have to decrease most likely because their feed prices are going to continue to fall. The same thing with wheat because a lot of them are fed grain as well. Now for grass fed, which I normally buy, that all differs. Now the drought certainly has had a terrible effect in a lot of the beef that is produced in California, but nevertheless, beef producing states like the Dakotas, Wyoming, and Montana haven't been really experiencing a severe drought. So I guess they'll just probably make up for the short supply in California, along with other countries as well. So this is the thing you have to kind of consider because, again, a lot of these predictions that's coming out, it has been wrong. It has been really, really misleading. It's been just disappointing for a lot of people. You look at the stock markets, they're continuing to make record highs, and I believe they will continue to do so, at least for next month. But again, I'm really bullish, at least for the long term. But again, it all depends on a lot of other factors, whatever may interrupt once in a while. I mean, look, with all the situations with Ukraine and China and what's it called, Iraq, stock market overall is still continuing to rise. Huh. And you have these motor mounts like Peter Schiff continuing to keep preaching the same thing on and on and on and on. People, you need to understand. You need to wake up. Because there's going to be coming a time where gold prices are going to continue to fall. We may go even under $1,000 an ounce sometime this year. And those people who are following these parrots, it's going to look really, really, really embarrassing. And I believe that it wouldn't surprise me to see if a lot of commodities continue to fall. By the way, I believe that emerging markets are going to continue to stall, which means that it may deliver a lot of downward pressure on food and energy, because it looks like that China is slowing down. But I don't believe that's going to necessarily crash the stock markets. So again, it seems to me that being in the stock market is better than bond markets, because a lot of money is coming out of that. It's better than real estate because it's slowing down. And it's better than commodities because overall the commodity markets has peaked in 2011. Gold is still, along with silver, away from its all-time high set back in 2011. So this is kind of the thing you really have to keep in mind. So all I have to say is stay tuned, because every passing day these markets are making new highs. I don't understand why you're wasting your time with these people. These people are going to continue to make you fall in the gutter, and when time passes by, something's got to be done, okay? And again, it's not just the gold and silver YouTube community. There can even be people that are bullish on stocks, and then they're not going to be telling you when's the right time to get out. I will mention where I believe is the right time to get out. So I'm not always on the same gear for the rest of my life. But again, these people, I mean, look at Peter Schiff. I mean, just look at his face. It's just showing you full of embarrassment. I mean, when I look at faces of Peter Schiff, I just really want to laugh like there's no tomorrow. And by the way, speaking of Peter Schiff, the channel Shit Report, SCHITT, has been removed. And I believe that more and more people are waking up, and I believe people like Peter Schiff have done a lot to probably shut that channel down. And he's, I'm sure, aware about these things. And by the way, a lot of other channels might shut down eventually. I mean, who knows? Maybe this channel, hopefully not Mindthis1 or Tacos Maneros, whoever. So you got to keep spreading the word. But again, in the long run, I'm not going to be really focusing so much on the investment markets. I'm going to be focusing on my reform movements, my renaissance, building that empire master planned urban development project. And I will have more updates about it soon, because, again, part of my wealth building isn't just about, for me, that so I can take care of myself. It's also about having the funds to live a better life there, and also spread the word about the movement, along with actually planning and building the plan itself. All right, anyway, thank you guys so much, and please stay tuned. Bye-bye.